Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Rosie and today I wanted to talk to you about this little device. So this is a Saramonic Smartmic DI Mini for the iPhone. So it does have the iPhone port here on the end. So the reason I'm talking to you about this is because I posted an unboxing video and first impressions video and it's gotten quite a few views. So I kind of wanted to give you an update and kind of talk about if I think it's worth it after a couple of months of use. So I bought this last summer, probably about 4 to 6 months ago, something like that. And I've actually really enjoyed it. So today I want to talk to you about 4 different things in particular to do with this microphone. If we start off with the price actually, so it costs around 30 to 40 pounds, dollars, euros, whatever your currency is. It's around 30 to 40, depending on obviously the currency. And I think that's a really, really great price. So overall, I've really enjoyed using this. There have been a couple of things that I've had problems with, so I'm going to touch on that in a second. But generally, I'd recommend it, and I'm actually going to buy myself a second one so that if I ever lose this, I have a backup, because that's how good I think it is. So at the moment, I'm just recording on my iPhone, so without a microphone. This is just the iPhone microphone volume audio, so you'll be able to test this. So I'm just going to plug this in so you can see the difference. Now plugged in, and something you're going to notice hopefully is that the audio sounds a lot better, less echoey, and just kind of hopefully sounds better overall in general. I don't know too much about audio, so I can't talk to you about specific things, but for me personally I think it sounds better. Something I do have to tell you is that I actually have to alter the audio quite a lot when I use this microphone, because otherwise it's quite quiet when I edit on iMovie. So if I was to use my iPhone audio, I would probably keep it at 100, 100%. When I use this microphone, I tend to bump it up to maybe 250, 300, sometimes even 400, and that's just to get the same quality of audio. So it does quieten down the audio quite a bit, so sometimes I do have to bump it up 400% to be able to actually hear at a decent level what I'm saying. So what I'm going to do is, okay. So I've just unplugged it again. So this is the iPhone audio at 100%. So I'm not going to edit the audio at all. At 100%, this is what it sounds like. Plugged in the microphone, I'm going to keep this section at 100%, so you can see what I'm talking about. It's a little bit quieter, it's maybe not quite as loud. This is at 100%. So I'm now going to bump it up to 250% so you can get an idea of how much that changes the audio. So this is at 250%. This is how it sounds compared to the iPhone without the microphone. And I'm now going to bump this section up to 400, just so you can kind of get an idea as to how loud I need to go to kind of make it equal. So this is at 400%. And that's with the iPhone back to 100%. I've pulled out the microphone. This is the iPhone microphone at 100%. So you can hopefully tell from that sample there that I do have to bump the volume up quite a bit to be able to get it at the same sort of level. So that is one thing I would say about this microphone, is that it does dim down the sound almost, and I have to bump it up in post-production. I don't mind, honestly, I think it's fine, but it is just something to take note of. The other thing we're talking about volume is that sometimes I find when I'm indoors, like now, I might bump it up to maybe 150, 250, something like that. But maybe when I'm outdoors, I would have to bump it up to 400%. So I do find that sometimes the audio is not consistent. It's not like every single time I record with this, I bump it up to 250. Sometimes it's 150, sometimes it's 400. So it kind of makes editing a little bit hard, because you have to kind of play about with it yourself for each clip to make sure that the audio is consistent throughout the whole video. That is something to bear in mind. Again, it's not the easiest thing to edit with, but honestly, you kind of get used to it. Now, obviously, sometimes in situations where it's windy or it's noisy, things like that, I might have to alter the volume as well. So if it's windy, I might actually bring it down a little bit. Maybe I'll bring it up a little bit. I do just keep an eye on the, the graph. I don't even know what that's called. The volume graph. I just kind of make sure it's at the top bar without going over too much if I can. So yeah, that is something to bear in mind. The next thing I want to talk to you about is this, what is this called? The foam thing that's on top. So this is something that comes with the microphone, and it does alter the, well, does it? I'm not even sure if it alters the sound. I don't think I did a test with and without it. But I will say that if you get this microphone, glue this section on. So I lost it twice, and I had to retrace my steps for about half an hour walking. Like one time was in Lima, one time was in the countryside in England. I suddenly noticed that my puffy thing on the end, I don't know what that is called, was no longer on my microphone, so I had to walk back and retrace my steps to find it. So if you do buy this, I would recommend super gluing it on, and you can see that's what I've done here. And let me see if that will focus. Not really, it's not great, this camera, is it? But you can see the section where I super glued it on has sort of peeled off a little bit. So do be careful with that in terms of super gluing it, but that's what I'd recommend, because otherwise you might lose this. If you're pulling it in and out of your pocket, it could fall off. Now, I thought this was supposed to be for wind. Again, I'm not an audio person. This is not my forte. I'm more into photography than audio and video. But I thought this thing was for wind. And actually, I learned recently that this is actually for the sounds that you might make when you're talking to a microphone. I don't know, the P's and B's or something, someone said. So it does help when you're talking, but it doesn't completely cancel out any wind noise. And something I found actually whilst using this when it was windy is that the audio would just get too high almost, that it would just cut out. So some of my audio clips when it was windy were, they would go in and out the whole time. So there'd be sections where the sound would cut off. And then so because that happened, I actually stopped using this sometimes when it was windy. So the next vlog you're going to see on Friday is in Huacachina, and actually we climbed one of the sand dunes, and I didn't use this microphone, I just used the iPhone microphone, because I thought at least it will sound windy, but at least it won't cut out the audio. So that is also something to bear in mind, that if it's really, really windy, this might cut out the audio. Not for huge amounts of time, but just kind of every couple of seconds you might hear the other thing to mention is in cars. I don't know why, but for some reason in cars when I've used this, again, it cuts out the audio every kind of couple of seconds. Not every single time, not the whole video, it's not completely in silence, but it does cut out the audio. And the clips that I had of me actually using it when I was in the car got deleted when my laptop broke, so I don't have the audio to show you. And then after I learned that no longer, it doesn't work in cars, I stopped using it in cars. So I can't really show you what I mean by that, but you're just gonna have to believe me. I'm gonna try and find any footage that I can of where the microphone has not performed at its best, where maybe it does cut out. So I'm gonna insert it now and let you know if it was either in a car or if it was due to wind. Okay, and the last thing I wanted to talk about is a dead cat that you can actually buy for this microphone. I haven't bought it yet. I do want to buy it. I think it's about £20 on Amazon, and apparently it's a dead cat that can fit over this. So like I was saying, I thought this would work with the wind. It doesn't. So when it is windy, apparently you can buy this dead cat that fits over this foam thing and fits over the top, and that should help with wind. So I'm going to buy that, and I'm also going to hopefully buy a replacement one of these just in case it ever breaks or I lose it. So I have a spare one, and I have the wind muff as well. I think with the wind muff, I probably will super glue it on as well, just so I don't drop it anywhere or lose it anywhere. I kind of think, I'm never going to use this mic without it, so it doesn't really matter if it's super glued on and always there. So I'm going to do that. If you would like to see a review of the wind muff, let me know in the comment section down below. I can let you know when I receive it. I can do kind of a first impressions, unboxing video, and then maybe a couple of months later, let you know if I think it actually works. Actually, maybe I won't super glue it, because it would be interesting to try with and without the wind muff, like the dead cat thing, to see. So I'll let you know what I decide to do. But generally, overall, absolutely love this microphone. It has thoroughly been worth the money. I think it's been brilliant. Like I said, it is about £30, euros, dollars, around 30 to 40, something like that. So it's really, really affordable. There are more expensive microphones. I believe one of them is the Shure M85 or 88, something like that. I looked at, it's about £100, maybe even more. So the other thing actually I like about this microphone, I forgot to mention, is the fact that it's omnidirectional. So if you plug it into your phone and you can bend it facing towards you for when you're talking, and then if you see a musician in the streets and somebody else, you want to listen to somebody over there, you can turn it around and suddenly you're listening over there. A lot of the other microphones for phones are either lav mics, which I'm not a fan of either, because in all your videos you'll have a little lav mic on your shirt. Or a lot of the microphones like this aren't actually omnidirectional, so you'd have to unplug the microphone, turn it around and plug it back in again. So I think that's just an extra faff in terms of having to unplug it all the time. So I really like the fact that this one just turns and I can just quickly, whoop, okay, I'm talking, whoop, okay, now you're talking. You can sometimes hear in the audio track if you move the microphone, so I wouldn't recommend moving it all the time, but just if you're, you know, between people talking, you can quickly move it and then start vlogging and start talking about what you're talking about. So obviously the size as well, it's tiny, it's brilliant, like it's really, really small, easy to shove in pockets, take around everywhere with you. It's not going to weigh you down, there's no wires, it's just easy to use, and I think it has been brilliant. So if you have any questions regarding this microphone, if I can help you in any way, please do let me know in the comment section down below. I'm going to leave this link down below, as well as the dead cat that I'm planning on buying, so you can go ahead and purchase these together. Let me know if you do, and let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.